This program was filmed at Scope West in Las Vegas. I'm pleased to welcome SupplyChainBrain Managing Editor, Bob Bowman.
One of the keys to enhancing supply chain velocity is through better parts planning. We're going to get some tips on how to do that in my conversation today with Tim Conrad, Director of Operational Excellence with Gates Corporation, a worldwide manufacturer of automotive and industrial belts and hoses. Tim, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Interesting acronym, PFEP, means Plan for Every Part. Could you please explain the concept and what the value of it is to a company?
The concept of PFEP is really to create the DNA of your manufacturing operation. Just like DNA defines who and what we are, PFEP defines who and what a manufacturing facility is. What components go into a finished good, how many, your delivery frequencies, your quantity per container, all of the necessary information to create a robust and flexible manufacturing system.
Of course, when you get into a large industrial manufacturer, you're talking about an incredibly huge universe of parts for which you need to plan.
Absolutely, but when it comes down to it, there are certain basic components to everything we make. And in our business, you're talking about rubber products or rubber-based products. So they all have a common kind of family of products that make up those. The variation is in some of the mixes and combinations you put together. So it's critical to understand how to manufacture a product, but it's also critical from a supply chain standpoint to understand how to manufacture the transportation and warehousing systems to manage that. And that's what PFEP will do for you.
So how do you use PFEP to manage supply chain cycles?
PFEP and supply chain cycles are critical. It has to do with how many parts you buy each time you buy it, your lead times, your transportation lead times. All of those things need to be managed as part of the supply chain. The PFEP gives you the definitions of how you need to manage it. Just as a value stream map will help you understand how your supply chain works together, the PFEP allows you to drill down into your supply chain to understand how you need to manage at the component level.
Have you benchmarked yourself against other companies to get a sense of the degree to which they are sophisticated or not sophisticated in the use of the PFEP concept?
Using the PFEP concept is really still in its infancy. You see it a lot of times on the shop floor, but you rarely see it in the supply chain. Because we're too reliant, I think, on big ERP systems and MRP systems and all those other acronyms to try to manage inventory. Inventory is really about having the right part in the right quantity at the right time. And PFEP allows you to define what those variables are so that you can begin to manage your entire supply chain outside of the four walls of your facility.
Well, let me pick up on that because it has to involve your supply chain partners up multiple tiers of manufacturing, does it not? And what's the challenge there in terms of getting them involved in the process, getting access to their data, collaborating with them so that you actually can coherently plan for all your parts?
That's a very important concept, and it's important because you have to understand what your supplier's capabilities are and what their process capabilities are. So, for example, we buy chemicals, and it is unrealistic to expect somebody like DuPont or Exxon to manufacture a 55-gallon drum of a particular chemical when their production capability is in the thousands of gallons range. So you have to understand what their capabilities are as you construct your PFEP. But your PFEP will also help you to understand how you need to structure your lead times to reorder, what your reorder points are, based on your supplier's capability. So it's critical to understand what they're capable of doing.
We've been talking about supply chain cycles. In your opinion, do supply chain cycles drive inventory, or is it the other way around?
Supply chain cycles drive inventory. Inventory is not an arbitrary number. It is a sum of the lead times in your supply chain. And that's what PFEP will help you understand, is the only way you're really going to reduce inventory is by reducing your supply chain cycle times. Otherwise, you expose yourself to the potential to impact your customers by not having the right part at the right time.
So you're kind of learning as you go. I mean, when did you first adopt the whole PFEP concept in your own organization?
We started our lean journey in 2001, but we really worked on foundational elements of stabilizing processes and equipment before we started working on PFEP and just-in-time concepts. We didn't start that really until 2007, so almost 6 years into our lean journey before we really felt like we could effectively manage our supply chain cycles.
So based on your experience in your lean journey to date, where do you see the biggest opportunities to actually reduce supply chain cycles?
It's if you can reduce the complexity of your manufacturing process, you can drive lead time out of your manufacturing cycles, and that's where your biggest advantage is. You're not going to make trucks go faster. You're not going to reduce distance between your facilities and your distribution outlets. So short of doing that, the only way you can really do it is to reduce the time it takes information to flow into your factory and product to flow out.
So even though plan for every part sounds like more complex, it's actually leading to a less complex system of one kind or another?
It actually will simplify your supply chain cycles, because it gives you greater visibility and control over your supply chain cycles.
How interesting. Well, Tim, thank you so much for sharing the experience of your lean journey at Gates Corporation.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
I've been speaking with Tim Conrad of Gates Corporation about lean manufacturing. Thank you very much for watching.